Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur show. And I know I say this in every episode, but you guys gotta love today's guest. Not only does she do what we want to do, she does some stuff what we also do. And you know what? At the end of the day, there's three things we absolutely love about her. She wants business success more for others than people want for themselves. She's amazingly good in what she does, and she's an amazing human being. So, and you guys gonna meet her right after this. Hello again. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur show, and you guys gonna love today's episode and today's guest. Her name is Nicole Hughes. And not only is she really good in all of the things I talked about earlier, she has this little thing where she says, hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Okay, we absolutely love that about her. She is really good in what she does. She has that philosophy that a smiling change can change everything. A smiling face changes everything. How often have you heard about that? And as I said earlier, there's three things we absolutely love about her: that she wants success more for others than she wants it for as they want it for themselves. She's amazingly good in what she does. And I'm really excited to sit down today with Miss Nicole Hughes from Elevate VP Solutions. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So we talked a little bit before we started. So can you tell our audience a little bit where are you calling in from? What does Nicole currently do? What is one or two personal things about Nicole our audience needs to know about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Nicole Hughes. I currently reside in Middle Tennessee. We're just south of Nashville. We've been here for about 4 years and we are California transplants, but don't tell anybody in Tennessee that. And then I work for Elevate Virtual Business Solutions. I am one of their lead executive assistants. I'm the manager of marketing and communications here at Elevate. And I also lead the podcast management department. I've been with Elevate for 4 years. And then on a personal note, I am a mom of three, a wife, and I'm a Girl Scout leader, a softball coach, a soccer cheerleader. I do all of the things on the weekend and after school. But that is a little bit about me.
I love that. So we talked a little bit about it earlier. You know, my audience knows I have four kids, and it's fun to see that other people are busy on the weekends too, not just us. So I'm really excited. So Nicole, I want to know more about you, and you always talk about challenging the status quo. So you have said that
Mhm.
you believe if it's not broken, don't fix it. So does that hold up in your experience? And can you walk us through a little bit how people can use that little saying? And I know a lot of people say it, but use it to leverage their business and to leverage and upscale what they currently do.
Yeah, so I think that when it comes to the saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it, goes along with if something is working successfully and you are seeing growth in your business day in
Mhm.
and day out, there is no need to change it at this very moment. That does not mean that you won't need to pivot in the future and maybe change one aspect of what you're doing or make a change to the way that you're doing your outreach or the way that you're communicating with somebody. But if the foundation is there and that's not broken, you
Mhm.
don't need to fix the foundation as long as that is set in stone and that is successful.
We love that because I think, by the way, you make it sound easy. Oh, it's the foundation. A lot of people don't understand what their foundation actually is and how to
Yeah.
get there. So, talk to us a little bit. Where did you find that little saying came from? How do you implement it in your current business today? And why did it become that driving force in what you do?
Yeah. So the foundational aspect of things really comes from Ashley, who is the
Mhm.
CEO and the founder of Elevate. And that's something that she works on a strategic level with clients is making sure that their foundation, their pillars of their business are set in stone from the get-go. As long as you have your foundation set in stone, then you can build on that. But without foundations or without pillars to build up your business, right? Essentially, you're thinking of a house. If you don't have your studs and your 2x4s set in stone, you're not going to be able to build that house up.
Mhm.
So you have to have that foundation there to start to build up. once you have that foundation, you're able to build
Yep.
onto it. And so you're not actually starting from scratch every single time. You're just, making adjustments. So you're never actually, nothing breaks because you have that pillar there that is set in stone and you're able to pivot when needed, restructure when needed, but you're never starting from scratch because you've already got that strategically placed and you're able to move forward from there and continue to grow.
I love that, and it kind of reminds me because you talk a lot about it as you came fresh out of school that you learned that every position in a company is crucial. So how did
Yes.
that insight shape your leadership style and how you work with business owners and businesses today?
So so a little bit of
Yeah.
backstory on me. I started in the healthcare field and I was working at a dental office, and then I slowly worked my way up in management and became the lead dental assistant, and then moved myself up to the administrative side and was working on that side. And in order for the dental office to run smoothly, everybody had to do their part. It was
Mhm.
not one person doing one thing that's going to make the business successful. It was everybody in there. If you didn't have the instruments cleaned, you couldn't do any procedures. So it just same thing in a restaurant
Yeah.
industry. If you don't have somebody there washing the dishes, you're not going to be able to serve anybody food because what are they going to eat with their hands? No, absolutely not. You have to have somebody that's there in that position and that
Mhm.
owns that responsibility. And the same thing goes for any business. You have to have people who own certain things, regardless of whether they're a low risk task or a high risk task, because those low risk tasks are going to set those high risk tasks up for
Yeah, yeah.
success. And so every single person, it's not a ladder that you're climbing. Every single person is an intricate part of the business's
I
success.
love that. I love that. And so talk to me a little bit because you said that, that leadership style or whatever you want to call it, that every position in your company is crucial. So let me take that a
Mhm.
level deeper. So what makes you think about that, and how can a founder or somebody who works in a company implement this in their facility?
A great question. I think part of it is
Yeah.
trust, right? You have to have trust in the people that you're working with. And you also have to be able to let go of the things that you want to own solely. As a founder or a business owner or a CEO, you have to be able to delegate some of the tasks that are on your
Hmm.
plate to somebody else so that you can focus on what your zone of genius is, which is going to be growing the
Love that.
business. You don't need to be worrying about your
Yeah.
calendar. You don't need to be worrying about booking that flight. Delegate that to somebody else on your team and trust them that they're going to make that
Mhm.
happen. It is a stepping stone. It is a learned process. Delegating is not something that is you'd wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to delegate and how I'm going to delegate it because everybody works differently. So you could have
Mhm.
one EA that works one way and another EA that works another way, and it's not going to be the same. So it is a learning process for both you as the business owner or the CEO and the EA to get to know your personality and your preferences and all of that. But I
Yeah,
think the key is trusting somebody else to do the things that have always been on your plate and giving them that
love
ownership.
that. I love that. So, let me pivot a little bit because you said
Yeah.
that when clients come in and when you work with clients, that the success isn't about serving just a client, but also supporting the team. So, how do
Mhm.
you help leaders, balance both? Because it's so easily said, and it's not an easy task to do. But how do you help them balance both?
So when it comes to the team success as a whole. And I'm just going to use myself as
Yep.
an example. So I am a lead EA, but on our team here at Elevate, there's
Mhm.
15 of us. So if I am learning something new that benefits me, I'm going to share that with the team. I am not going to hold that in my
Oh,
vault and not
no,
share it
you
with the
don't
team.
share. You keep it on yourself. Okay.
No, I've got to share it with everybody because if it's going to benefit me and my client, then why not give
Absolutely.
it that information to somebody else so that they can take that and they can say, hey, this is something that was suggested to me. It worked great. Let's try
Mhm.
it and see if it works. If it doesn't, we can modify it, we can pivot, we can do whatever we need to do. But now they have that information as well. So it's not just me and my client who are having success. That success is now being given to somebody else and their client. And that goes for the team setting too in a business. If you find something that's working well for you, share it with your team because it may work well for them as well. But until you share, you don't know if it's going to work well for them or not.
I love that. So let me take it a step deeper then. So what happens when efficiency improves, but culture suffers? So how do you prevent that
Mhm.
from, or that little trade-off?
That's hard because culture is super
Hmm.
important. I think in any business, culture is important because if you don't have a culture in your business, then everything else is going to
Hmm.
lax. And you don't want to have it so that you are constantly like feeding information, but not rewarding anybody, not
Yeah.
acknowledging anybody, not telling everybody like, "Hey, you're doing a great job. I love that you did this." And it's okay to give feedback too. It's not just the fact that you're not constantly rewarding without feedback. You want constructive criticism as well and constructive feedback, but it has to be a conversation. You can't just say, "No, I didn't like
Yeah.
this. Tell me why. Why didn't you like this?" Because I can't fix something I didn't know I was doing wrong. And so that communication has to be there. And that will also lead to a culture where there is open
Hmm.
conversation. And so that way you're not having this downfall on the culture because people are afraid to speak up or people are afraid to say or give feedback on something. So open communication is
Yeah.
huge. Giving constructive feedback is also huge, and conversational feedback. You want to have the conversation, not just share what's working well. Like if I hand something off to somebody and they're like, "Yes, this is great. However, I actually see this that could be done to help streamline
Yeah.
this." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know that." Because when you're looking at something for so long by yourself, what ends up happening is you have tunnel
Hmm.
vision. And I think a lot of CEOs, a lot of business owners, even myself as a lead EA, I have this happen to me all the time too, is I'm staring at a project for so long I'm no longer seeing any other options. And I'm like, it's not working. I don't know why it's working. But I hand it off to somebody else and I'm like, can somebody else look at
Hmm.
this? Can you please just take a peek and see what I'm missing? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, there's five options, and people are like, hey, you could do this or you could do this. And that, again, the culture of open communication and constructive and conversational feedback just allows everybody to
I
grow, not just an
I
individual.
love that, and the reason we have written create on here because I am one of the believers. I honestly believe we creating conversation, and if we can talk about it, if we can have an honest dialogue about it, we can create. It's as simple as
Hmm.
that. And for
Hmm.
me, that's something I totally resonate because I always look at me as an example. Um, my number two here, she's not here today, but when she's here, she said to me the other day, "Hey, what's going on in this aspect of the business because you really haven't shared about it. Is everything okay? How
Hmm.
do we grow on that side?" And for me, it made me realize something I preach out there when we go out to our consulting clients or when we work with different partners, that the number one thing which needs to be in place is the success loop. And when I really break it down, if there is a breakdown in communication, it shows somewhere and there's a challenge. And for me, even if there's a challenge today and I peel it all back and I go back and have a conversation, somewhere somebody failed to communicate something. So for me, that's so
Hmm.
huge. And it's amazing that you talk about that because there's something else you talk about and you call it the power of a smile. That you live by the belief that a simple smile changes everything. So, how did this philosophy guide your career and company culture since you started adapting that?
Yeah, so that's actually started in the healthcare
Hmm.
industry as well. Working in the dental
Yeah.
office, a lot of people know people do not like going to the dentist. And being in the front office and being the admin in the front office, I was the first person
Hmm.
they saw when they walked in the door. And so I set the tone for the appointment. It's just like in a restaurant when you walk in and you see somebody behind that counter ready to take your order, that person is setting the tone for their entire experience. And so having a smile on my face, regardless of how my day is going, having a smile on my face and making sure that they are having the best experience is what
Yeah.
mattered. Because once they left my desk, that set the tone for the entire appointment. And it goes the same in even in a remote world, which that's how Elevate functions is we are remote. We're all over the country. When I am meeting with clients, that's the first thing I'd start with is a smile. Hi, how was your day?
Mhm.
Like you have to have that personal level and that human touch. And that will set the tone for the
Mhm.
meeting. That will set the tone for the conversation. If I get on a call and I'm frowning and having a bad attitude, that's not a great way to start the conversation either. So I like to start conversations with a
Mhm.
smile because I think that, and you know the saying, it takes 13 muscles
Mhm.
to smile and like so many more to make a frown. Why not do
Yeah.
something that is easy and make somebody else feel good at the same time? And it may lift your spirits
Mhm.
too in the same aspect. So I think that just having a smile on your face and starting the conversation that way allows one, it's
Mhm.
engaging. I'm allowing for open conversation. You can tell by my facial expression, I am open to having a conversation. It's okay to give me feedback. It's okay to talk about whatever we need to talk about. And I'm
Yeah.
here. It's just that it's a smile. That's all that it is. It's not hard.
You make it sound easy, but sometimes
I
it's not.
know.
And for us here as an organization, we always say we are architects of memories. And because when I communicate with somebody, if I send somebody an email and they don't see me face to face, that sets the expectation on who we are as an organization. So we write
Okay.
emails intentionally, which are a little bit more upbeat because that's who we are as an organization. And we also, when we write emails, we want to make sure that there's a little bit, we always say we leave a little bit of ourselves in the email to the client because we want them to know that we are here, if things go bad or things are great. And for us, we
Yeah.
have this little saying, we are architects of memories. And an email, an interaction is just a confirmation of what the client has when they connect with us. So you saw that describe it when you talk about elevate. Um, there's this place where you feel stretched and where you feel strengthened, almost like I call it like a superhero. How has that culture come? Not just how did it come back? How do you believe a smile can transform that or be transformative in that aspects of allowing people into our world?
Well, like I was saying, it shows you that I'm
Hmm.
open. Like I have an open smile. I'm talking to you. Having a smile just opens the door to where maybe somebody who is afraid to give feedback, and I'm going to go back to the
Yeah.
feedback reference, maybe somebody who's afraid to give feedback is like, I can already tell they're having a great day. Like, I do not want to make their day any
Hmm.
worse by giving any type of feedback, whether that's positive feedback, negative
Hmm.
feedback. But in a conversation, when you are meeting with somebody, even if it is negative feedback, not negative, I don't want to say negative, but if it's feedback where it's constructive feedback, and you start with a smile, you're letting them know they've done nothing wrong. They just have something to improve on. We just did a training the other day where it was saying like, don't make everything an
Hmm.
opportunity. So look at a gap as an opportunity. It doesn't have
Yeah.
negative impact. You have to look at any gap that you have as an opportunity. And so by starting with a smile, you're coming in and saying, listen, it's okay. This is not something that is make or break. Nothing is on fire. Everything is
Hmm.
okay. We're not burning down. We're going to make it through the day, but we do need to talk
Yeah.
about something. And we have read at Elevate, we've read Dare to Lead by
Hmm.
Brené Brown. And one of the things that she always says is clear
Yeah.
is kind. Just because you're giving not so great information doesn't mean you can't be
Hmm.
kind about it. If you are clear with giving feedback and you are clear with delivering a message, it's still kind. You're still getting your point across. You don't have to be mean to get a clear point
Hmm.
across. You just have to be clear, which then makes it kind.
Yeah, it's so true because if I leave information into interpretations, if it's not clear, um,
Mhm.
absolutely, I love that. So maybe you can help our audience a little bit. Hey, what is a small, more almost silly efficiency hack you love, but most of the people wouldn't expect when they come to a facility like yours?
There's so many, like small little things that could change your day. Um, Time
Mhm.
blocking and calendar blocking. You are a CEO, you've got tons of meetings on your schedule. When do you have you
Mhm.
time? When do you have time where you sit down and you do CEO work only? Because if you're in meetings from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., when are you actually
Yep.
working? You don't have any time to be strategic. You don't have any time to grow. You don't have any time to think about your networking opportunities. Think about that conference you're going to go to. So, being strategic in your calendar and putting in time blocks is huge. Can they move? Absolutely. Nothing is set in stone. And that's something that I always tell clients is anything that we put onto your
Hmm.
calendar, it's a
Yep. Yep.
placeholder. We can move it. If we have to move it, that's fine. But as an EA, I'm going to help you respect that boundary that you want to set. So if somebody comes and says, I want to schedule this meeting, oh, I'm so sorry, they're unavailable at that time. Let's find a different time where we do have meeting blocks that I can put you in there and you guys can have that great
Love
conversation.
that. Love that. So you talk a lot about the efficiency creates freedom for leaders. Can you share with us
Mhm.
a time or two when you optimized a system or when you optimized the systems which gave a client back not just an hour but peace of mind? Um, how would that or what would that look like?
Yeah. So I have actually worked with a client that many of your listeners probably know. I'm not going to name drop, but he travels a
Mm,
ton. And conference schedules and travel schedules were a lot, but everything is planned out well in advance. We know when these conferences are going to happen within a month of the conference
mm,
ending. And so what I did is I took all of the conferences that I knew he was going to go to for the next year, the next calendar year, and we planned everything out by
mm.
quarter. So at the beginning of every quarter, we had the entire
That's
quarter planned
awesome.
out. I had flights, I had hotel accommodations, I had car rentals, I had everything figured out and ready to go. And we put it in the calendar. All of the details were right there. He didn't have to go
Love
looking through
that.
his inbox. All of the details for the entire flight or the entire trip, excuse me, were in a Google folder that was attached to the calendar invite, and all of the details for the entire trip were in the calendar. So he just had to go to his
Mm,
calendar, which then allowed him to focus on what he needed to focus on, the conversations that he's having at the conferences, the networking opportunities that he's having at the
yep.
conferences. He didn't have to worry about where he was staying. He has all that
Mhm.
information. The flight is booked well in advance. He doesn't have to worry about making sure the flight is there or anything like that. So by doing that efficiency, not only did it help me be able to open up the time for to support on additional tasks, I was able to set him up for success for the entire quarter, and he knew exactly what was
I
happening.
love that. And I think a lot of industry leaders, especially in the hospitality industry, can take that little hack, what you just talked about. So I encourage our
Mhm.
listeners to go back 2 minutes and listen to that again, because if you could do that, and have that impact. It's not just that, knowing that the stuff is being taken care of. It's a sense of security. That's absolutely right. So, what if you have to see it of a small win, what would you recommend for somebody who thinks their systems are fine? You know what? They're great. They work amazing, but could do better. So, what's a small win you would recommend for somebody to do?
That's a great question. So, what I would recommend if you think your systems are
Hmm.
fine, which they probably are, just look at everything that you're working
Hmm.
with. And let's just take platforms for instance. Look at all the
Yeah.
platforms that you're working with. How many of your platforms can actually do the same thing? And so you're spending X amount of dollars more because you are using two platforms that do exactly the same thing. Can you eliminate one of those
Yep.
platforms? Or can you automate another platform to speak to another platform so that you can go in and you can just automate it and combine the two of them? And how much money is that going to save you a year? It's probably not a significant amount of money, but that's one less platform that you have to
Yeah.
log into. That's one less platform that you have to
Nicole,
manage.
my team every week. I'm so I don't want to say I don't want to use new tools, but for me, we using so many
Yeah.
platforms. I said, hey, we want to go to 50, 60% in a platform before we take on a new platform. Are we leveraging
Hmm.
them? Is there something else out there? What can we leverage in order for me as a business owner? I hate logging into different things. How cool would it be if there's just two or three, I have them open and run with them and just use them all the time. But for me, that's one of my pet peeves. I don't want to. It doesn't matter how great the tool is. If I only use it 15% of my time, we don't use it. We find something else to do.
No,
And for me, I absolutely love that. So let me ask you a personal question then. What systems do you
yeah.
use at home to make your personal life more efficient?
Listen, if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. That is the situation at our house. If it is not on the calendar, it is not happening. I don't care how far in advance you sent that invite. If I forgot to put it on the calendar, we're probably not going to make it because we've got 10 other things on the calendar the same day. I use Google Calendar every single day. That's
Hmm.
what our life runs off
Yep.
of. And it is color coded. It has emojis to tell me which kid
I
it
love that.
is, what meal we're
Mhm.
doing, all of that. I mean, I have a taxi emoji for school drop offs, so I know I'm driving at that time. And that was a hack I actually got from somebody
That's
else
really
on our
cool.
team. Yeah, but I can look at my calendar and know exactly what I'm doing, whether it's softball, whether it's soccer, whether I'm driving at that time, if it's Girl Scouts, if it's a work meeting, all by the emoji. Does it take a little bit of extra time to get it on the
Yeah,
calendar? Yes. But I also created a key. So I just copy and paste it off of the key, put it into
love
the
it.
calendar, and I'm set to
So,
go.
by the way,
But that's my
oh,
hack.
everybody needs to copy that because we also live on a Google Calendar. And so for us is I love the little emoji thing because for me, I was, am I driving? Are you driving? What's going on? Love that.
Hmm.
Really, really cool. Consider that hacked because we will
Yes.
use that. So now I'm interested a little bit more about Nicole. So for the
Yeah.
rest of the year, what is Nicole working on? Nicole, to do become better in what you do more efficiently. And then let us look a little bit behind the scenes on what is Nicole working on the business to the rest of the year to make it more efficient.
Yeah. So personally, we are working on just continuing to make it to all of our calendar events, honestly, and make sure that we are at
Mhm.
everything that is on the calendar. But overall, we plan on taking some trips this year. We want to do a Disney cruise later
Awesome.
on. The kids have all agreed to do a Disney cruise or a cruise over winter break instead of doing big gifts. So we are trying to plan that. One of my daughters is in club soccer. So if anybody else has a club soccer kid, you know that
Mhm.
that sport never ends. So that is year round all the
Yep.
time. But on the business front at Elevate, we are actually launching our own
Amazing.
podcast. So we are really excited about that. And I have taken on all of the editing and all of that stuff. So it's been a learning experience for me because I'm more used to being on the admin and ops
Mhm.
side of it. But we are launching a podcast where we're giving all of the details, like we
Yeah.
talked about today, just weekly. So you'll get all those golden nuggets of strategy, efficiency, all of those things, and just continuing to just support our clients because, like I was saying earlier, it's not just the success of me and my client, it's the success of the team. And so we love to see people succeed. We love to see them grow. We love to see them move on to the next level of their
Mhm.
business. And whether that's graduating, is what we call it, from Elevate, so that they can hire a full time in person support, or if it's working with us in a different capacity, that's what we're looking for in the next 6 months to
Love
12
that.
months.
Love that.
So
I'm really excited to see that podcast come out. If there's some efficiency things, we will copy it. Do not worry
yes.
about it. We got to make it better and we do it on our own because we're
Yeah.
really good at that. So, but
Yeah.
before we go, I want to ask, are you up for playing something we call rapid fire question, food service edition? Awesome. So
Absolutely. Let's
before
do
we
it.
get into that, if anybody listening today wants to know more about Nicole, where can they find out
Mhm.
more about Nicole and all of the little cool things she does so we can have our life be more efficient as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on LinkedIn, and then all of our efficiency and all of our tips and tricks that I shared today, we share those on Instagram at Elevate VB Solutions. We're also active on LinkedIn and our website. But a great place to get that information is to subscribe to our newsletter because we share a lot of information there where we are giving challenges. We just had challenges in July. We had a calendar challenge, an inbox challenge, a goal setting challenge. So definitely check out our website and subscribe to our newsletter because that's where you're going to get a lot of
Awesome.
information.
So good. So good. So with that, it's time to play rapid fire question, food service edition. So Nicole, we need to tell you how fancy we gotten in this. So we have about 80, 85 questions. So we actually took all the information where your name was, and there was 60 something websites. We plugged into that, and now it made a personalized rapid fire question food service edition for you. So are you excited to play? So the way it works is we have 25 questions. I will ask you for a number. I read out the question, and then we would like you to answer yes or no, and why, because we food service, we know, we want to know why you're doing certain things. So are you ready to play? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So,
yes.
Ms. Nicole, give me a number between 1 and 25. 12. Have you ever accidentally started a small fire in the kitchen just to make sure the equipment is working properly?
No, I haven't.
Why not? We all did. We all did.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I accidentally stuck a thermometer in the microwave and that caught on fire, but not as an adult.
It's multitasking. So you're awesome at that. Okay, give us a number between 1 and 25.
Let's go with 20.
20. If you could turn lasagna into a sandwich, would you? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, I would, but it would have to be on French bread, and it would have to be warmed up, and it would be like a meatball sub or a marinara type of situation. And I'm getting the protein and the carbs and all the sauces. So yeah, absolutely.
I just don't like that he made it French, because he took an Italian classic and you want to make it French. Okay, give me a number between 1 and 25.
Let's do 2.
Should ramen noodles become legit breakfast food? Yes or no, and why?
Absolutely not. No, that is a lunch or a dinner or a college snack. It is not a breakfast food.
Oh my God, I love that.
In my opinion.
You know, I have 4 kids. I get Amazon delivers from different, I had no idea how many different ramen noodles out there, but my kids eat them, take them with them. I'm not sure if I would do it for breakfast. Okay, give me a number between 1 and 25.
Now let's do 11.
11. Is chocolate considered a valid topping for nachos? Yes or no, and why?
What?
Chocolate.
You say chocolate? No. For nachos? No, unless they're churro nachos. And so if it's churro nachos and you can do whipped cream and chocolate, then yes, but not tortilla chips.
I'm not sure where these questions come from. Okay, give me last number between 1 and 25.
Let's do 7.
7. Would you cook while wearing pajamas just to make sure the food tastes better? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, I do cook while I'm wearing pajamas, but it's not because I need to make sure that the food tastes good. It's just because of the fact that I've already wound down for the day and I'm on to the night. So, yes.
And that completes Rapid Fire Question Food Service Edition. Miss Nicole, we really appreciate you playing that. But before I let you go, we have one question for you. What is the best advice you ever gotten you never acted on?
Ooh. Gosh, I don't know. That is a very, very loaded question.
It is. And so for us, it's what we found. So we asked this question, and you could see people's facial expression. And it says, oh, somebody taught me many years ago to buy something called Yahoo. I never bought Yahoo stock. I should have. Or somebody said, I did something like that. We interviewed somebody earlier this morning, and he said the best advice he ever gotten, he never acted on, is something he's reminded of every day. Because if I would have done this little thing, we would have just scaled 50 times, 100 times faster than we did today. And sometimes that little advice we're going to get, even if we don't implement it today, we will implement it later because we usually know it's amazing. So
Yeah.
was there ever something for you where somebody shared something and it was just amazing, but at the time you didn't see it?
Goodness. Again, a loaded question. And I think that it's more so not necessarily that I didn't act on it I definitely didn't act on it in the moment. Um, but I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, don't be afraid to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think as I've gotten older and just grown in my career, being uncomfortable gives opportunities that you didn't think you would have otherwise, because there's a lot of things you're going to be uncomfortable in. But if you don't try and you don't take that uncomfortableness and run with it and see if it works for you, then you're never going to know. And so I think as in my younger years, I definitely was like, no, I'm not going to be uncomfortable. That sounds horrible. But now that I've gotten older, don't be afraid to be uncomfortable.
I love that, because for me, that's something we teach, is the power of uncomfortability. Because the greatest lessons we learn is when we are in that state, because I think we're a lot more aware of things, of what's going on, and we're a lot more aware of ourselves. And then also when we can push ourselves into that comfort zone once, twice a week, or maybe even once daily if you need to, it allows you to kind of reflect. And a few years ago, I had the opportunity to meet Wayne Dyer, and he said to me, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I was sitting there, I don't even know what that means. I was driving home, I was thinking about it. I came back the next day and I says, I don't know. And he says, it's exactly that. Because when you take a step back and you look at that, and you don't just look at that, you look at it from the feeling of the person which goes through it. What you feel and how this information will come through is totally different. And it became one of the things which we practice all the time, and which became one of our lessons, what we do here in our organization. And it became one of the key things why we do what we do, because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that was really what you said. So we really appreciate you being here today. So Miss Nicole, first off, thanks a lot for the gift of your time. Thanks a lot for the gift of your wisdom. And thanks for being here and sharing as honestly as you did. I think what you do for the organization is amazing. We will follow you. We will make your stuff better and use it ourselves, because that's what we do. But I really appreciate you being here today, and thanks for the gift of your time. And to our listeners,
I appreciate it.
Thank you. And to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you follow Nicole, follow her company, and just see what the amazing things they're up to. And if you haven't done so, don't walk, run to the internet and go. I love that you said you were really good on one of the platforms we are always on is LinkedIn, and you responded really good with that. So if you guys want to get a hold of Nicole, text her on LinkedIn. She's really good in getting back to you. So with that, until next time, to remember to disrupt your kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm Christian. I'm here with Nicole. We are the day's hosts, and we are signing off. That means we are out of here. So with that, be the change, be the chef, and be the one who sets the world on fire. With that, thanks everybody. Miss Nicole, we appreciate you being here. And to our listeners, go out there and be disruptive, everybody.